We are not perfect. In fact, we're far from it. The human personality is a way to show the world who we are. It displays everything we want to show to the world, helps guide our decisions, and provides us with a sense of identity. We like what we like, love what we love, hate what we hate, and do what we do, mostly because of our personalities. But the intriguing thing about the human personality lies in its flaws and inconsistencies. Why is it that sometimes we'll say one thing and do another, and other times we'll do one thing and say another? Why does our behavior often differ so greatly in similar circumstances? It's bafflingly beautiful to me that humans can be so consistently inconsistent. We're extremely unpredictable, volatile, and immeasurably arbitrary. The Last of Us Part 2 is a narrative that develops its characters in complex and beautiful ways. Before anything, it's a story about people, about what people would do, how they would truly react given their circumstances. The characters in this game exude true humanity and display incredibly realistic reactions to situations. I believe that the character writing in The Last of Us Part 2 is beautifully executed. The personality that is given to these characters stays mostly consistent to real human reactions, interactions, and behavioral patterns. The apparent unpredictability in our behavior is fundamental to being human. We are extremely unpredictable in most scenarios. That's what makes us so dangerous. Most people won't be able to guess where we'll go, what we'll do, or how we'll do it. There's a possibility that we may be able to assume what somebody will do in a certain situation, but this only happens after a substantial amount of time spent with this person. After careful consideration and experience with another individual, we can begin to create an expectation of what a person will do in a given circumstance. However, even then, it's still extremely likely that this person that we think we know will do something completely out of character, thus shattering our prior misconceptions and perception of them. A lot of people will claim to know a person, but when they do something out of character, it is completely unexpected. This type of behavior is present even in the gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2. For example, in stealth sequences, the goal is to take down the enemies in unpredictable ways. During encounters, we maneuver around the enemies in the most unexpected ways. We attempt to break their line of sight and hide from them, then pop back up right behind them and take them down. They rarely see us coming, so they never expected us to behave this way. The interesting thing is, this is a pattern in the player's mind. The player is expecting these enemies to behave how natural humans do, so they expect these characters to be focused on their one previous position. But the player is unconsciously behaving in an erratic fashion because they believe that this will yield the best results. And most of the time, they're right. Which brings me to my next point. What's even more interesting is the dichotomy of how we behave versus how we expect others to behave. We usually expect others to behave normally. As I mentioned before, we expect them to do certain things in certain situations. This is why the enemies always believe Abby or Ellie are in the same positions. They're programmed to not expect the player character to be smart enough or crazy enough to try such things. However, the enemies will do these things. They will flank you, they will sneak up on you while you're fighting somebody else and attack you this way. Again, this is all video game programming, but it's still something that is consistent with how humans truly behave. This is why your parents have certain expectations of you based on your personality and are disappointed when you don't live up to those expectations. It's hard to truly know a person. The only person you truly know is yourself. So when it comes to ourselves, it's a completely different expectation. As individuals, we intentionally behave in a wild fashion to throw off the people around us. Since we behave inconsistently, we should expect others to do the same. But this is instead something that must be learned and understood over time. It doesn't come naturally to us. We don't automatically think that just because we behave in a certain unexpected manner, others will do the same. That's something that's so scary about humanity. We're dangerously impulsive and wildly unpredictable, and it's very difficult for us to expect the same of others. It is so painful to see Ellie keep making the wrong decisions. We see her go through a ton of difficult situations, and it seems as if she keeps choosing incorrectly. She abandons Jackson, brutally kills all of Abby's friends, abandons Jesse and Tommy, and leaves Dina behind, among many other things. But it's all in the name of revenge for Joel, so in her mind, it's justified. Her flawed perception of justice is consistent with her actions, but the inconsistencies lie in her interactions with others. She tells Jesse she's willing to forget about Abby to save Tommy. She tells Joel she's fine for years. She tells Dina that they can live happily, but her actions say different. To others, she puts up a facade and makes it seem as if everything is okay, but in her mind, she's already decided what she's going to do. Her tunnel vision focuses on Abby. It focuses on vengeance. It's not the right decision by any means, but it's the decision she's taken. She is flawed, just like we are. She is inconsistent with her words and her actions. She is violent, unpredictable, random, volatile, and dangerous. Because, after all, she's only human. This, again, reinforces my point on how we believe that just because we act one way, others will not do the same. Everyone around Ellie expects her to act in a certain way. Everyone around Ellie expects her to do a certain thing. Even though they may behave completely out of the ordinary, they expect others to behave ordinarily. This is why I feel that the character writing in The Last of Us Part 2 is really well done, because although we may claim otherwise, the actions and decisions these characters take are in line with what humans would truly, honestly do. It's how we would honestly react. The flawed nature of our existence is displayed clearly and naturally in this game's characters. It's hard for most people to accept that this is how people behave. This is what people would do. These inconsistent behavioral traits are what make up our humanity and make our choices and actions so difficult to anticipate. We all try to stay consistent in our beliefs and motives, but it's often difficult because in the heat of the moment, we can make a decision that goes against all of our core values. Like Joel did at the end of The Last of Us Part 1. After spending the last 20 years resenting attachment, he grew attached to Ellie, and he killed everyone and everything to save her. And it's just like Abby did after spending the last 5 years hating the scars. At the heat of the moment, she saved Lev, she saved Yara, killing everything and everyone in her way to protect them. But that comparison is a comparison for another video. With The Last of Us Part 2, there's a mirror being held up to the player, telling them that this is the reality of the world. This is the reality of your humanity. This is the reality of your people. And for a lot of people, this bleak truth is too much to handle. It's these flaws that make a character so great. We could have a perfect protagonist who always makes the right decisions, and that may be enjoyable in its own way. Most people want video games to be an escape. They don't want to have to experience the brutal reality of the world. They play video games to get away from that. And I understand that perspective. But to me, if there are no consequences to a character's actions, and if they don't make wrong decisions sometimes, I don't connect with them. To me, the compelling characters aren't perfect. Compelling characters are the characters who have flaws, the people who make the wrong decisions. A bad person can be a good character, and a good person can be a bad character. But if a character has layers, depth, and reflects the true human experience, I often end up loving them. Because these are the characters that mean something to me. These are the characters that feel real. So you may be asking, where do we draw the distinction between a bad character and a flawed character? Well, I could tell you that it's subjective. It should depend on how that character resonates or connects with you. And maybe that's true. Your truth may differ from mine. How you perceive your favorite characters will differ from how I perceive my favorite characters. So let me tell you what I feel. To me, a good character feels human. They should feel as if they could exist in real life, as if you could meet them in real life. A good character should be believable, and whether it be a genocidal, superpowered psychopath or a gentle, loving empath, as long as they possess innate human characteristics, beliefs, ideals, and personality traits, I believe that they are good characters. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's somewhat of an indirect sequel to my other video, The Fragility of the Human Psyche. I'll have more time soon to keep making more content because I am almost done with school, so I hope you guys can enjoy whatever I'm putting out. Tell your friends about me if you'd like. I'd appreciate any support whatsoever, and I hope I can grow a larger community soon. But I'd also like to say thank you all for everything you do. I have much love for all of you. That's all I have to say for this video. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing if you're new, and click the notification bell so that you never miss my uploads. My socials and Discord are linked below, as is my Patreon. Thank you for stopping by, don't forget to look for the light, and goodbye for now.